Hi class, you are doing lesson 16 today. Okay, so it is lesson 16 and it says right here that it's a recording sheet. Okay, so you're not starting on the first page. You're actually going to start, so this is the first page and you'll see it says center 1. You actually want to flip the page over on the back and it says center 3. So this is what you're going to do today, okay? So you just watched a video about inches, yard, feet, and yard, okay? So as you can see, remember, this is about 1 inch, okay? And we use that inch tile to make our ruler, all right? So remember, how many inches are in this ruler? If you said 12, you are correct, okay? Because there are 12 inches. Do you remember what 12 inches is? If you said 1 foot, you are correct, okay? So 1 foot equals 12 inches. And remember, they said the length of your folder is the same as your ruler. So it's about 1 foot, okay? So I have this chart for you, and it says 12 inches equals 1 foot, okay? So I'm going to use this and use this on the whiteboard so you can look at it later, okay? So if this is 1 foot, how many feet or how many rulers long is this yardstick that I have? Do you see the yardstick? It's pretty long, okay? So look, how many of these do I need to equal 1 yard? Remember that football field that they showed you in that video? Those were yards, okay? So if you said 3 feet or 3 rulers long, you are correct. So watch, I'm going to use this to measure my ruler, okay? So here's 1. Okay, I'm going to mark and move on the ruler. So this is 2. Okay, and now it's 3. Now I'm at the edge, okay? So what this means is 3 feet or 3 rulers long equals 1 yardstick, okay? So 3 rulers or 3 feet equals what? You're correct. A yardstick, okay? So now, think about it. What would you use? What in the classroom can you use to measure with a ruler? And then what would you use to measure with a yardstick? So let's try, okay? So look at my water bottle. Do you think I'm going to use my yardstick to measure this? Or do I just use my ruler? So if you said ruler, you are correct. Okay, so think about your yardstick. What are you going to use to measure your yardstick with? So if you said your notebook or your math book, you'd probably want to use your ruler because it's not very long. But let's say you're going to measure like the whiteboards, okay? Look at the whiteboard. It's pretty long, right? So you probably want to use your yardstick and you're going to mark and move. So here's the end. I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to move it. Does that make sense? Because it's pretty long, okay? So if an object is longer than a ruler, okay, you want to use your yardstick, okay? And you measure it like 1 yard, and you mark and move, and then it's 2 yards. That's okay? So let's look. So you can use this, okay? And down here you can see that first it starts with inches because they're small, and then it gets larger to a ruler, which is a foot, okay? And then it gets even larger to yards because a yardstick is the longest, okay? So first it's inches, then you move to feet, and then yards, okay? So you are going to do center number 3. Choose the units to measure the object, okay? And it says, name 4 objects in the classroom. Circle which unit you would use to measure and record the measurement in the chart. So right here, as you can see, it says object. You're going to write which object. You have to write the length, and then you circle inches, feet, or yards. So let's practice that, okay? measure my water bottle. Okay, so I need to write water bottle on my paper where it says object. See that? And then I'm going to actually measure. Okay, so I'm gonna say that this is like the edge. Remember, you have that 0 on your ruler, and that's where you start, right? So it's the edge of the water bottle with 0. So I'm going to count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's about 9 if you can see right here by my finger, okay? So I'm going to write 9 right here. And then I measured with inches, okay? So I have to circle the word inches, okay? If you're using feet, then you would do like, this is 1 foot, and then if you mark and move, 2 feet, mark and move, 3 feet, okay? And then same with yards. It'd be like 1 foot, 1 yard, mark and move, 2 yards, okay? So think, what would you use to measure with yards? What in the classroom can you use to measure? So here are some ideas, okay? Remember last week when we used the measuring tapes to measure in the classroom? So you can measure like the student supplies counter. You can measure all across in the whiteboard from one end to the other, okay? So if you need a partner, you can work with a partner because you might need help marking and moving if you're using a yardstick. So ask, can you help me measure, okay? Then at the bottom, on number 4, it says, find benchmarks. Look around the room to find 2 or 3 objects for each benchmark length. Meaning, you need to find objects in the room that are about an inch. So, objects that are about an inch, meaning like the size of the inch tile. Okay? Then, objects that are about a foot. You need to find objects that are about as long as this ruler, okay? If it's longer, it's probably not something that you can use as a benchmark, something that's the same, okay? Then, right here it says, objects that are about a yard. So you need to find something that is about as long as this, okay? Remember, my water bottle, not a yard, okay? But it may be closer to a ruler or a foot. Okay, so that's that part. Now, the very last part, this is center 5, what you're doing today. You're going to circle the tool used to measure each object. Then measure and record the length in the chart. Circle the unit. So you actually have to measure these things. Length of the rug, textbook. I'm going to say your textbook can be your math book. Okay, because we don't have textbooks. Pencil. You know what that is? The length of the chalkboard. We don't have a chalkboard. We have a whiteboard. So you need to go over and measure the whiteboard. Then pink eraser. Our erasers are not pink. Ours are white. So you're going to use your white eraser. Then you circle which tool you used and the actual measurement. Okay? So it says feet here. Remember, for feet, this is 1 foot. If you mark and move twice, that'd be 2 feet, okay? And then at the bottom, this is a word problem. I need you to try your best, okay? Okay, get started.